Hello guys, and welcome again to one of my tutorials. In the last tutorial what we did was we made a little hangman game, and it was okay, but not too bad. But now what we're going to do is we're going to be using our database, our online database, to store some usernames and passwords and stuff like that. And basically that's it. So this can also be, by the way, used as a registration system in your game in Unity 3D. So if we go ahead and create a C# script, and we will call this script database. Double click on the script. I'm just gonna quit myself on Skype so we don't get disturbed by messages, and just close Chrome. Okay, now uh, I'm going to delete all this, start fresh. We're going to need two strings, and because of the password string, uh, password equals to that. And I also wanna make my um, the user string, uh, user equals to a static public, so everything can access it. And I also want to put a name, so in fact let's make the name as well, so name equals to. Okay, now private void, I cannot type today, on GUI. So first of all, the username, so user equals to new GUI layout dot text field, and that, there we go. And then name, in fact name should be at the top, so also I need to label them, forgot about that, dot label user name. In fact, let's just make it at the bottom. So name equals to GL layout dot text field. This is some just major stuff, obviously you would pretty much know if you watched my other tutorials. If you haven't, then what the hell are you doing here? You shouldn't even be here right now if you haven't watched my previous tutorials. And if you don't have a clue what's going on, then just please leave now, because go watch other tutorials that I made. Okay, so let's create another field. In fact, repass, and this is for the password that you're gonna type in again. So if uh, GL layout dot button, in fact, see, for this text field, in fact, let me go over here, add this, and let me show you something. Okay, now see, for this password, if I type in something there, you can see, everyone can actually see that. So to fix this, where no, it's just stars or dots or whatever, what we can do is, instead of text field, we can do password field. But for this, we need to add a comma and then give it a character. So I'm gonna give it let's see, let's just give it a star. Okay, now since star, this is a string and we're getting the 0 character, which is the star. Okay, so that's basically what that means. And let's just replace this with that and make sure this is password. Register. Okay, now we should be good to go for this bit. Okay, let's just create something at the top, like GL layout dot box, and we're gonna create a new string, call it message equals to should have called it error message, but who cares. Message, and it's only going to display this if message is not equal to that. By the way, if you don't put equals to that, then it's going to equal to null. And remember, null does not equal to, wait, null does not equal to that. So remember those. Whoops. So there we go. Now I am going to check if the two passwords are the same. So password equals to repass. Then it's going to continue, else it's going to say in the message, well, it should be plus equals to, and whenever you click message should go back to default. So please enter, in fact, your password does not match. Wait, let's just do that. Your password does not match, and then a new line after that. And the reason why we did plus equals to is because then we can have multiple messages. So now if those two are equal, and let's check if anything, in fact, before we should check if those two are equal, we should check if anything actually is equal to something. So user needs to equal something, it can't just have equal to nothing. So or if name equals to nothing, or password. Remember, the password and repassword are going to be same, so we don't need to check that. So else, if that's not true, then it can do this. If it is true though, then I want message plus equals to, and I want this to say please enter all the fields /n. Okay, now let's see what, yeah, now it should actually get. Okay, now here is the part where we send all the data to a PHP script that is going to be inside your website, and that PHP script is then going to contact the database, MySQL database in our case, and get all the details, or put in all the details, or do whatever with the details. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new form. Oops, we need using, I'm pretty sure there are forms in Unity Engine. Let me just check. System.net.form. Yeah, so form. Oh, there we go. www form. Sorry, I'm actually getting confused. This is not my day today. Form equals to new www form. So now form, we're going to send. This is the data we're sending. So we're sending the user, then we're sending the name, and we're also sending the password. And this field is there for when it's received, what should it, the variable it should be called. So when it's going to be received, it's going to create a new variable, and it's going to be in that variable. The stuff is going to be stored in that variable. So I want this to go in a password variable, name. We're just gonna keep it the same. Anyways, and now we're gonna do www, and w equals to new www, and new UR. Oops. Oh, we don't need to. We can just type in the string. So string and then the form, because we want to send all this data, the username, name, and password. And here is the link we are going to send this to. So now we're gonna start account read, and let's see, uh, we should call this register and W. Okay, now we're starting account read, which you shall see IE numerator and register. Forgot about that. www return W. You're probably like, what the hell is going on here? And oh, maybe you've actually seen. Uh, maybe I've done this in my other tutorials. I can't remember, but yeah. So basically, here it starts a countering, and then it goes here, and then this line just means that wait till it gets the data back from the PHP script. Like after we sent all this data, obviously it's going to do something, and then it's going to send it like, it successfully created a username. It didn't create a username. So it's going to wait till it gets that response. After it gets that response, it's going to check if w.error equals to null. Because if it is, then only then we're going to check for data. If it isn't, then we're just going to print the message plus equals to error, and I'm gonna do plus, why is that? Okay, there we go, w dot error and plus slash n. Okay, that's good. Now what else? Okay, now we're gonna check if, in fact, we're not gonna check anything. What we're gonna do is in the message, we just hold on, wait 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. And anyways, now what we're going to do is we're just going to put the return in message for now. So w.text. Anyways, people keep disturbing me while I'm making this tutorial, so hopefully we shall be finished soon with this. So message, we're just gonna put the return we got in the message. Now let's create the PHP script and put in the URL. Now let me minimize this. Let's open up your internet web browser, and we need free hosting service, and the one I would recommend is Wordspace. You can sign up for free, as you can see. You don't need to put any credit card details unless you are obviously getting a paid one. So uh, in fact, I'll use this one. Us. Okay, now go to home after you've signed up and logged in, obviously. And now we're gonna go to domain manager. And now we're gonna choose a domain. By the way, this is like a temporary URL. You want to actually create the website, you can't get a domain for free. I'm pretty sure anywhere you can't, unless you're getting the .tk, but that's just a link, to be honest. Anyways, now what you want to do is just create a name. So Unity, right? Unity tutorial.com. Okay, and you need to put a .com, by the way, at the end, and click add domain or just press enter, and you shall receive it this screen. Now what you can do is click on preview, and there's your website. Do I need hosting? Whatever. It's got some random crap inside it. Okay, now go to home, go to MySQL manager, and we're going to create a database. So what I normally like to do is just put the database name and the username as admin, since I only create one like every single time, and just make your password whatever you want to and create the database. And it should take some time to create it, and we're done. Now you can basically click this. I just opened it in another tab, and then details, and you can visit your database. Currently it doesn't have a table. Our database needs to have a table, to actually have stuff inside it. So we're just gonna create a new table, call this unity tut for tutorial short. And fields, we're gonna have let's have an ID. Okay, so unique ID, which is 1, and then username 2, and password 3, and then name 4. So 4, go. Now we're gonna have ID, and this is going to be int, if I can find it, int, and I want to make it unique. This is for unique, and extra auto increment, which just means it's gonna automatically put in the ID. We don't need to type in. Otherwise, we'll need to first check for all the IDs and manually enter a unique ID. But with this auto increment, it'll do it just for us. So user, that's going to be a varchar, and how long do we want it. So we're just going to want it 32. We can actually put that there, but we don't need to since it's unique and auto increment. So, and the name is going to be varchar, and let's just make it 50 characters. By the way, these are characters if you don't know. So varchar just means string. uh, Now password, I'm gonna make this 42. We're gonna be encrypting our password, just to tell you, and it's, bear in mind, you should make it, I think it's 32, the length we're going to be using. We're going to be using MD5 encryption, which length is 32, I think. Okay, so make sure it's above 32, because if it's not, then your password won't match up when you're like logging in or stuff. Okay, now let's save this. Okay, now you basically created a table. You need to do it. You go in there. You got this table. You can't go to browse because there is nothing there, and we can insert stuff or we can export this table, whatever. Anyways, ID, username, name, and password. Now we got all that. Let's go back to home, and let's go to file manager, and file manager Lite, and your website name.com, and there's the index.html. That's the page you saw when we visited it. Okay, now what we can do is we can actually delete this. We don't really need it, but I'm just gonna leave it because it doesn't really bother me. Anyways, let's create a new text document now. We're actually creating a PHP. So if you don't have this extension thing enabled, then what you need to do is you can just go to Notepad and then save a file, but make sure you save it as .php, because we're gonna create a PHP script. And I'm gonna do register.php. Yes, I want to change the extension. I'm using Notepad++, which I would highly recommend. It is like the best solution for a lot of languages, not just PHP, even HTML. Anyways, as you can see, it does a lot of languages. Anyways, uh, okay, now let's type in the script. Now in PHP, we create variables by putting a $sign in front, as you can see, and then the name of the variable, and then making it equal. We don't need to set the type of variable. It automatically detects the type of variable. So if it's a string, it will automatically detect if it's a string. Also, we need to start the PHP using less than sign and then question mark. We don't need to put in PHP, but I just like to put that in, and then a question mark sign and a greater than sign to end the PHP script. That's like the class, if you want to call it that. So every PHP code we type in, we need to start here, put it inside this. So first of all, I'm gonna do this, so I've got a better view of these username and passwords because we're going to be using those. So user equals to, and the way we get those is we use post, or we are actually using post. Anyways, uh, so we're using post to transfer the data. There's also get, but we're not going to go into that right now. So since I said these are variables, these variables will now contain the data that this script sent. So your username, name, and password. So these variables now contain those stuff. Now what we want to do is we want to first of all check if username exists or not. Yeah, let's just check if a username exists or not. So first of all, we want to connect to our database, and I actually don't know much PHP, so bear with me. I am actually going to have a little look, and I'll be back in a sec. So welcome back, and this is the exact code that you type in to connect to something. So MySQL underscore connect, and then here we're actually not going to type in localhost. Here we're going to go to the thing and go to home, the workspace. I mean, make sure you are logged in, by the way. We're going to be coming back to this like a lot. Oops, not this. There we go. Go to MySQL Manager, and this is your host. Copy this and put it here. Okay, now we need to I think this is the username. Yes, and let's paste it here. Put in your password that you made for that username. I did vacuum apparently, and put in this the same thing here because your username and your database name is the same. So here we're connecting to your awards page stuff, and if the connection is not good, then it's gonna say could not connect. And then after we do connect, by the way, die just means it's gonna stop right there, the script. So after we connect, uh, we're just gonna connect to the right database, the database name, which is this. So let's open this, and now we're going to connect to the right table, which is unity tut, and we're going to see if there's a username already exists. So let's create a check. We're going to check if the username exists. So I create a variable, and this variable is going to be MySQL underscore query. We're going to do a query. By the way, if you don't know PHP, I do recommend checking out PHP Academy's tutorials. That's actually where I get my PHP from. So just saying, I have no clue about PHP. So, well, a little, but not that much. So we're going to do select star, which means select everything from and it is the unity tut we're after. So unity tut, you might have named it something else, who knows. And so select everything from unity tut where user. So I like to copy and paste a lot since I get a feeling that it's gonna be not exactly the same, that's why. So where, and oops, okay, now where the username equals to user. So dot dot, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So here I think we actually need to, let's just okay, let's just type in something here. Let's just create a username, z505, name, z, password, blah. I just want to check one thing. Okay, uh yeah, those little things, I actually have no idea how to get those little things on my keyboard. Wait, I think I actually might have just found out. Yeah, I did. So I have no idea what they're called, but it's above my tab key. But if you create insert something, and then if it's that there, that before the ID, there we go, that. So yes, whatever that is. And if I go to browse, I'm just going to delete the thing I just inserted because I don't want to insert anything right now. So if the user, if it finds a username, we're going to check. So if, and bear with me again, I'm going to check this again, how to do this. Okay, I'm back, and by the way, the reason why I'm actually not showing you me checking them is because the website I'm actually going to check the things that I typed before is Frontier site. And remember, I'm not like a robot, I can't remember everything. That's why I've actually typed this all before, but I obviously forgot it. So now, what I did here is we're checking if after we get all if we get all the usernames that user equals to user. In fact, if we go here, we should set the user to unique. So unique, and there we go. That's it. Let's minimize this. Okay, now we're checking if the user equals to user. If it, okay, now we're here we're checking how many users are equal to that user. So the number would be in the num rows. So if num rows equals, or if num rows equals to 0, yeah, that's it. We could have done is not equal to 0 and stuff like that, but it's if it equals to 0, then that means there aren't any users, so we're good to go. Now what we need to do is just encrypt this password. So pass equals to md5 and pass. That's how you encrypt it. Now it's encrypted, so we're making the pass equals to the MD5 version of itself, which just means an encrypted version of itself. So now we're going to enter in all the details and create that user thing. And by the way, if it already exists, then we're gonna die. We're just gonna copy this because I'm too lazy to type it in, and just gonna edit it a little. So I'm gonna type in, let's see, user already exists. Now here what we're gonna type in is MySQL underscore query, and we're gonna add um add insert what you call it, something in the table, okay, whatever it's called, I don't care. So username, if I insert something in the table, by the way, it gives me a MySQL query at the top. See, SQL query, even though it says SQL query, we're gonna copy it and we're gonna paste it here. And what I like to do is, if I press backspace, backspace, and backspace, okay, now we've got this query, and we're gonna edit it a little because we don't want to insert z505, but actually we want to insert the value that is inside user, because remember that's getting passed down from our C# script if you haven't lost yet. And the name, I think, is going second, and I spelled it right, yep. And now the pass dot pass. Okay, now we should be actually good to go, but I just want to put this inside a variable. So ins equals to, and we're gonna check if ins is true. If ins, then die, and it's going to say we can actually use echo, which doesn't end, we just prints. It's basically the same as print. Echo, if you do echo, it just means print. So but we're gonna use die. Yeah, come on, let's just use die. And also else, forgot about that. So unknown, wait, we should do error and dot. Basically dot is the equivalent of plus in C#. So MySQL underscore error we're getting the error if there is one. If there isn't, then successfully created user. Okay, now we should be good to go. Now let's close this and upload this. Before I upload this, I'm gonna go to browse and just delete myself. Okay, now go to home again, file manager Lite, Unity tutorial, and I'm gonna upload it here. So choose a file, desktop. I actually need to clean up my desktop. I don't like actually anything on my desktop. So upload this, and as you can see, register.php is uploaded. And if we go back to home, by the way, we are actually using here, this is the old version, and PHP my admin is this is the new version. So if you click here, it might be actually a better interface, as you can see. So this is actually an interface, I forgot to tell you. It does take a while to load though. So anyways, we're gonna go to domain manager. In the meantime, that's loading. And then if you click on preview, and here it gives you a link, and if you type in after that link /register, if you put it inside your folder, and then even though I didn't type anything in, it created a username. So let's, come on, okay, Unity to it. If you go to browse, and it actually did create a username without nothing, and name without nothing, and password that. The reason why it's 3 is because remember we inserted 2, but we deleted those 2, and the password is encrypted. That's why obviously that's the equivalent of nothing. Okay, now wait. Okay, yeah. So it is working. So if you copy this, I'm actually going to delete this one as well. So delete, and go back to Unity, open our C# script, and paste. Oops, paste this here. Okay, now we got this all set up. By the way, I'm actually gonna uh, upload these scripts for you to check out. By the way, if you can actually use this, but I wouldn't actually recommend this registering thing for my URL for the game. So let's type in Z and leave those two, all of them empty. Please enter all the fields. Awesome. Okay, now let's put in a random passwords. So your password does not match. Awesome. Type in my password here. Register. Successfully created user. Now let's go here. You need to refresh the page. So browse. Oh my god, it's there. Z, my name, and my password encrypted, so no one can see it. And I think that's enough for this tutorial. And we shall be creating a login system the next tutorial. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.